Hi, my name is Andres Morales. I'm a local real estate broker with Bonaventure Realtors. Thank you for logging into my channel one more time. Today we're going to be talking about the foreclosure process. What is the foreclosure process? Hopefully I can answer some of your questions, and hopefully I can provide some help for whatever circumstances you're currently going through right now. If you do have any questions for me directly, you can contact me at the phone number below, which is 949-306-9260, or you can email me at thankyou@andresmorales.com. So to start off, I do have a quick disclosure. The slides that you're going to be looking through, or I'm going to be presenting today, are for informational purposes only. In any way, they should be taken as legal or tax advice. If you do have legal or tax advice, my recommendation is to talk to an attorney or talk to an accountant that can better help you with those specific questions. So before we get started on what is the foreclosure, we have to learn what are the types of foreclosure. So in California, we have two different types of foreclosure. The first one is what we have is the judicial foreclosure. And just the judicial foreclosure is a foreclosure supervised by a court with a formal legal proceeding. You'll be served with legal notice of the pending action, and the court will be approved. The court will approve or set the foreclosure date and sale. So everything is done through a judge. And generally, these are the better types of foreclosures because you can actually appeal to a judge and try to get them to have some leeway as far as selling dates. Our second type of foreclosure would be the non-judicial foreclosure, which is the most common here in California. And this foreclosure is not supervised by a judge in any way. So in both types of foreclosures, the homeowner receives the legal notice of foreclosure. The legal notice is published in the local paper, and in most cases, the home is sold at a public auction. So the judicial foreclosure, you'll get notice, and there will be a public notice on a newspaper. Judicial foreclosure, you'll still get notice, but everything will go through the court proceedings. Okay. So the process and timing of the foreclosures can vary by state law. If your mortgage company can begin preparing the default notice, foreclosure proceedings on your home as early as 60 days, but generally most companies will start the foreclosure process within 90 days after non-payment. And that's the case here for California as well. So this is how the process goes. So 30 days into the mortgage, you failed to make a payment, you're going to start getting collection calls and letters from the bank saying, hey, you haven't made the payment. Call us to make some kind of agreement or some kind of arrangement. You need to make the payment. You'll start getting a lot of calls as well. Hey, why are you falling behind? My recommendations, first 30 days, if you know that you're not going to be able to make the payments, start doing some type of negotiation with the bank in order for you to be able to buy yourself some time. After the 30 days, on the 60-day mark, if you still haven't made any payments, the collection calls will continue as well as the letters. On the 90-day mark, if you have not done any payments, that's when the bank will file a notice of foreclosure, or NOD, a notice of default. Now, the notice of default is going to be filed in several ways. You're going to get the filing is going to go. The bank's going to go to the local county where the deed is recorded, and they're going to file a notice of default. The notice of default is just the paperwork saying, hey, we're going to start legal action against you because of non-payment, and therefore this is what's going to happen if you do not make the payment, bring the payments current on this mortgage. Once they do that notice, they have to send you a copy of the notice by mail, and then the timeline starts. So 90 days, if no action taken by the part of the borrower, the notice of default is filed. After the 90 days, if you have done nothing at all, no modification, have not placed the home for sale, then the cycle continues. Notice of default has been filed, but now the lender has some type of legal standing in order for them to be able to repossess the property because they already did their filing through the courts. At the 180-day mark since the last payment, the notice of default or the notice of trustee sale will be filed by the lender, meaning that they're going to file another notice with the county saying, hey, this person has not made a payment. We already filed the notice of default. They have not made a payment for over 180 days. So now we are entitled to get the property sold in order for us to get the money back that we lended out to the specific borrower. if no action is taken after the notice of trustee is sent. Now, so this notice of trustee is a little bit different because not only will they file with the county, but they will also put a notice on the front of your door saying, hey, your property is going to be sold in this specific date. After the notice of trustee sale is filed, that's when you get a specific date when the property is going to be sold. After the notice of sale, will state that the property will be sold within 21 days from the notice of trustee sale. Now, please keep in mind some lenders will vary in time depending on how backed up they are on their foreclosure process. I've seen lenders take up to 5 years to actually execute a notice of trustee sale just because they've been so backed up on the amount of foreclosures that they'd had. Now, within 5 days from the notice of the sale or the sale is to take place, you do have some time to be able to reinstate your loan. Anytime between the notice of default all the way up to 5 days prior to the trustee sale, you have the ability to be able to reinstate your specific deal. Okay, and that's our next topic. Now, the right of reinstatement. You may have a legal right to bring your account in good standing by paying all your past due payments plus permitted costs and expenses within the time permitted by law for reinstatement of your account, which is normally 5 businesses prior to the date of sale of your property. Now, keep in mind that the lender has to file the notice of trustee of sale once in a 365-day period. Now, let's say, for example, you reinstate your loan and after the notice of trustee sale has been filed, and then 3 months down the line, you fall into foreclosure again, then the bank does not have to file another notice of trustee sale. They can just sell the property, and I've seen it done before. So it's very important that you keep in communication with your lender within that 365-day period so you don't get the home sold under your feet. Now, how do you avoid foreclosure? Now, the most important thing to avoid foreclosure is you need to take action. You can't just sit there and wait for the bank to help you out or anybody else to help you out, because nobody's going to help you unless you take action to get the help that you need in order to save the property. So one of the things you can do is first call the bank, try to negotiate with them to see if they can maybe give you a forbearance agreement where they allow you to pay the amount that is owed in a specific period of time. They may be able to give you some type of loan modification directly. But you need to contact the bank and let them know that you're in it for the long run. If you want to keep the property, that you're in it for the long run and that you're willing to negotiate with them and you're making things right. Banks understand that we are human beings and we go through hardships from time to time. So it's very important that you're able to communicate that to the lender in order for them to be able to help you with the assistance that you need. So that's number one. And remember, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain from communicating and from taking action. Number two is pay what is owed. Paid any arrearages, any balances. Generally, if you do get to the point of trustee sale or notice of default, the lender is going to not only charge you interest, but they're going to charge you fees, attorney fees, paperwork fees for them having to go through that paperwork. So the balance will be a lot higher than what it would be if you would have made the mortgage payments on time. So keep that in mind. So work with the mortgage company to get some type of assistance. There's also local nonprofits that can help you out. Some of the ones that I recommend is Keep Your Home California. And you can check them out at 888-954-5337. Now, this organization was set up by the Obama administration. They funded $2 billion for the state of California. And it's one of the best organizations that I know because they will sit down with you. They will look at your financial stability, where you're at currently financially. They'll look at your map, your picture, financial picture, and they will tell you whether you qualify or not. Now, they have 4 different programs that they will be able to help you. One is a mortgage reduction program. The other one is an unemployment program. The third one, I believe, is an arrearages program. And then the fourth one is in case there's nothing you can do, then they'll give you money for moving expenses if the property has to be short sold or if the property is foreclosed. So they're great. They can be found at keepyourhomecalifornia.org. It's a nonprofit HUD-approved organization. They don't charge anything. And you just have to make sure that when you do work with him, because you're the interested party, you have to make sure you keep on them, calling them, getting information, asking questions, finding out status of your specific transaction. So that's very important. Call your local HUD-approved nonprofits. Locally in Orange County, I recommend Neighbor Works of Orange County, and they can be reached at 714-409-3441 or at www.nhsoc.org. Now, I know that Neighbor Works is a national organization, so they do have, in different counties, they do have this type of assistance available, and they're pretty good as well. They also work with the Keep Your Home California programs, and they also work with other local programs, and they have a backdoor access to lenders that can provide you some assistance. So it's very important. So remember, contact your bank. If that doesn't work, contact Keep Your Home California. If that doesn't work, contact your local HUD-approved nonprofit. And always remember that you should never be paying for a loan modification. Even if they're an attorney, you should never be forking out any money for any loan modifications because there's a lot of people that will prey on the circumstances that you're currently in right now and may take advantage of what you're going through, okay? Now, if foreclosure is imminent, you do have some options. So what I wrote down here is if foreclosure is imminent, the options above may not longer be available to you. However, you may be still to leave your home without having to go through foreclosure. This means you won't have a foreclosure on your credit history, and you may qualify for relocation assistance to ease your transactions to new housing. Okay, so you still have options, meaning you will not have a foreclosure on your credit as long as it hasn't been filed. And if you make the decision prior to the lender going into foreclosure to make the properties, to make a sale of the home or to get some type of modification. You got to remember that once a foreclosure is in your credit, it's going to be there unless it was a mistake by the bank. It's going to be there for 4 to 7 years before it falls off. Now, what are your options if foreclosure is imminent? Number one is deed in lieu of foreclosure. So what does this mean? It means that you're going to reach out to the bank and say, hey, you know what? I can't make the mortgage payments. I can't afford the house anymore. Here's the deed. Instead of foreclosing on the property, take the deed from me, and we'll call it a day. Some lenders will accept it. And some others may try to work out some type of loan modification. So the deed in lieu of foreclosure is a deed instrument in which a mortgagor, the borrower, conveys all interest in real property to the mortgagee, which is the lender, to satisfy a loan that is in default to avoid foreclosure and proceedings. The second way you can avoid foreclosure is through a short sale. So the short sale is a sale of real estate in which the net proceeds from selling the property will fall short of the debt secured by liens against the property. In this case, if all lien holders agree to accept less than amount owed on the debt, a sale of the property can't be accomplished. Either or, foreclosure, deed in lieu of foreclosure, it's always a route. The short sale, it's what I always recommend if you can't get a modification. Being that with a short sale, you would have to negotiate with every single lender to make sure that the debt is satisfied. What I see in many cases is that either with a deed in lieu of foreclosure or a short sale, many lenders will come later on and say, hey, you know what, this transaction was not properly closed. So you have to make sure you're working with the right professional to make sure that if you do go through this process, that the debt is satisfied once you get the property sold. So for more information on the foreclosure laws within the state of California, I put a couple of links here that you might want to access. The first one is http://www.courts.ca.gov/1048.htp. And that's the foreclosure process through the court system here in California. Also, the foreclosure process civil code, which I put the link for legal info. And what I'll do is on the description, I'll pull this information on there as well. Foreclosure Consultants also has some really good information that you can find. Now, I hope that you found this information helpful. I know how stressful a foreclosure process can be, not only because of the foreclosure process, but because whatever issues cost you to get into that situation is very challenging. And I hope this information helps. My recommendation is, if you want to keep the home, or it's a goal that you want to do because whatever circumstances you are going through were momentary, is reach the local nonprofits. They may be able to help. Reach to your bank. They may be able to help. And if those things don't work, reach out to a trusted real estate professional that can be able to help you. Now, if you do have any questions or if you do need help, you can call me, and I can sit down with you and help you as much as I can and provide with all the experience that I have. Again, my telephone number is 949-306-9260. I want to thank you for checking out my video. And if you have any questions or if you have any specific topics you want me to talk about, feel free to give me a comment or send me an email at thankyou@andresmorales.com. Thank you and have a great day. Best of luck.